What's up, Southwind? Andy Majors here, general manager here in Kansas City, One Hair Got Junk. I'm here with Mitch Lightfoot, somebody who joined our team last fall. Really excited for him to be part of our team, and as we come to the end of the season and the end of our, contract, that doesn't mean our relationship has to end, but we're here today just to kind of discuss the road that he's been on while his time was at KU, the road he's been on during his time with us here at Southwind, and kind of just to get to know Mitch a little bit more. So super excited to dive in. A lot of good content we're going to cover today, and I'm excited to know a little bit more about you because there's some questions here that I don't know how you're going to answer. So I'm excited, and hopefully you can sprinkle some Mitch Lightfoot nuggets on us today.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm excited. You guys have already got a great thing going here, and adding a little bit of knowledge to it would be special for me.
I love it. Let's jump in, man. So I want to start with the NIL opportunity. And for those who don't know what NIL is, that's name, image, and likeness. That was passed last July through the NCAA, as you know, but not many people do. And we jumped on that pretty quick. We were one of the first true partners in the country to really strike a deal. And I'd love to hear from you kind of what that did to your brand for Mitch Lightfoot and kind of what you learned through that whole landscape. It's
been so special. NIL really came out of nowhere overnight. From a player's perspective, we were working at camp. They called us into the locker room after camp and told us, "Hey, this is all getting ready to happen. Here's what it is." And we were like, "What?" And you reached out, and it really has been history from there. Having that 1-800-GOT-JUNK and Southwind attached to my brand has been special because it allows me to attach myself to a company that I believe in their beliefs, everybody working towards the same goal and going in the same direction is something I think makes a successful business and a successful team. So being able to partner with you guys and get my face even out there more in the community, benefiting not only myself but you guys as well has been important.
Well, it's been fun. You've done some social media posts for us. We've done some radio spots, sneak peek. We did a little TV interview today, and I think we allowed you to kind of be you because that's I think that's the coolest thing about you is your character and is just next level. And I think when you're building your brand, you want to stick to who you truly are. And here at Southwind, as we build our brand, we have pillars we want to go by, and I think that was important for you. Is like as long as I get a chance to still be me, and my hope is that you still felt that.
Yeah, for sure. With NIL, you see guys doing advertisements and posts and social media shares, and some of them can lose their personality in it. And I feel like that was something that we did a great job of, is incorporating me being me, as well as being an ambassador for Southwind and 1-800-GOT-JUNK. So that's kind of been the part of it that makes it special and makes it beneficial.
That's awesome. Well, you definitely built your brand and boosted it, and we were just glad to be a little piece of that, man. So jumping ahead here, man, so what you've done to this level has taken more than just your skill. Obviously, you're a very skilled basketball player, but it's taken more than just that. So, what did your experience at KU equip you with to be prepared to sustain 6 years at a high level academic institution, and then how did that maybe prepare you for what's next in your career?
For me, it's been a challenge. I mean, anybody that says it's easy is lying to you. I went to KU and I've had to adapt each and every year. No 2 years are ever the same. Being able to be successful off of a pivot, because you're gonna have to pivot. Things are gonna change. You're gonna have injuries. You're gonna have coaches gonna need you to do something else to make the team better, and you're gonna have to adapt to new situations and be successful in those situations. Being able to think on the fly, being able to just go with it, but also at the same time not let yourself be discouraged when things don't go quite your way. Having some loyalty to your situation, some loyalty to your program, some loyalty to your team has been a big thing for me. I came to KU, and I came to KU to be a Jayhawk and not ever give up on that goal and that dream I've had from a young age. And I've been loyal to them, and they've been loyal to me, and that's allowed me to become the man I am today and be successful.
It's interesting. You've seen a lot of really good players. You've played against them, you've played with them, and you've seen a lot of good players fall through the cracks. Because the skill level can take somebody only to a certain level. You know what I mean? And what do you think is like the number one attribute in somebody that can have their skill level, and like, what's that attribute that takes them to the next level?
I don't know how to explain it, but like knowing you don't know and knowing that the coaches have a better knowledge of the situation.
It's like open-minded?
Yeah, open-minded.
Yeah.
That's a great way to describe it. Being open-minded, because you have a bunch of high-level athletes, great players, very talented, but if you're not open-minded, you're never going to adapt to, like I said, you're never going to adapt to the situation you're in and how the situation can change. And that's something that I feel like the best players are very open-minded and continue to adapt. And you see guys that maybe in a situation that's not as beneficial as it could possibly be, and they flip it and they use that and make themselves a better player, and in turn make their teams a better team.
I like how you use the word pivot, adapt. We work obviously with a lot of general managers, franchise partners, here's the terminology, and obviously a lot of emerging leaders. And those are things we talk about all the time. Are you willing to be open-minded? And I think that is how you get from one level to the next. So I'm glad you shared that. So just jumping into another category here. So in the college athletic spectrum, like it's kind of unique to be somewhere for 3 years anymore. It used to be 4-year players, no matter what. That was the norm. 2 or 3 years is kind of like out of the ordinary now. The fact that, that you were, at KU for 6 years with a Hall of Fame coach, not many people can say that. So like, what are some of the takeaways that you were able to, take with you from being around Coach Self, not only in the basketball court, but off the court?
One of the best things that I learned from Coach Self is he says what's on his mind, and he's not going to hide anything from you. And he's going to coach. He's going to coach you, and he's going to coach you hard. But at the end of the day, he says what he means, and he's not holding anything back. If you think, if you're sitting there worried about, does Coach think this about me? Does he think that about me? Coach is going to tell you. He's going to be very upfront and very forward with you, and I've found that that's the best way for most people to grow, that have been my teammates and played with me, because if you're wasting energy on what does he think, what was me type thing, no, Coach is going to tell you. He's going to make it very, very apparent for you, and you can now turn and use that energy to go fix what you need to fix and make yourself better.
Is it safe to say some players can handle that approach and some players can't?
Yeah, sometimes people would consider it him being a jerk to you or something like that. But it's not him being a jerk. He wants the best for you. Coach Jeff never wants anything but the best for his guys, and there's a reason he's in the Hall of Fame. So we should be able to learn from him and understand that, hey, he's going to know more than we do. He's not being rude. He's being upfront, and there's a lot of value in that.
That's awesome. So, let's talk about legacy. We have our own legacy wall here in Southwind of guys that have started here in Kansas City at HQ and kind of made their own path, and you hear these words about you, Mitch, national champion, the winningest basketball player in Kansas basketball history. That's not to take lightly. I don't know how you can summarize it, but I'd love to hear how you can kind of summarize that.
Coming to KU, I knew that I would never be the best player to play here. You have Wilt play here. I wanted to come to KU, and I wanted to be a part of the tradition, and I wanted to add to it. I wanted this place to be better, having me been here. And I tried to put my hand on it in every way I could possibly do so. Being a great teammate, being a great leader, being energy and active, and being active in my community, making sure I'm an extension of the coaches, Coach Self. Really, in every way I could possibly try to help this place grow, I tried, and I feel like seeing as we ended this year with a national championship, and it's been very special, and I'm just so blessed to leave it just 1% better than it was when I found it, and I'm a caretaker for all this tradition, and it's been the greatest honor of my life to be able to play here and to honor those that came before me.
Think about when you signed for KU, obviously your goal was probably to win a national title. You probably dreamed of that type of thing, but the fact that the script played out the way it did, I can't imagine you ever thought it to go that way, right?
Yeah, a lot of people go to college to win a national championship, and a lot of people go home sad.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. I get to end my career on a win. Like, how many people get to end their career with a win?
Right. Not many. Peyton Manning,
Yeah.
John Elway, and Mitch Lightfoot.
I don't know if I'm on that level, but it definitely feels good to win, and
Right.
and nobody, I think, deserves this more than Coach and the guys on this team. They've worked so hard, been through so much, and it's just a testament to how having a close team, an experienced team is valuable. And these guys, they went out there and we fought for each other, and we fought for our coaches, and we knew at the end of the day we were going to go do everything on humanly possible for us to make our fan base proud and make each other more successful.
You know, I want to capture something you said there. It's not on script here, but you said the word experience, and you know this, sometimes freshmen play and seniors don't. Even in business, sometimes the new guy in the room is more valuable than somebody who's been there 10 years, just because even though the experience level is there, sometimes the talent level, closes that gap. You obviously seen that, in your career a lot, whether you experienced it yourself or you saw it elsewhere, kind of discuss that dynamic, because it happens in business a lot. Sometimes experience doesn't matter. Sometimes the best player or the best person for the job is the best person. So like, talk about that dynamic and how it can help a team or maybe, be a potential roadblock for a team.
So I can only speak from our perspective. With our team, we had a lot of experience. It's so weird because I was only supposed to be with the majority of these guys for 1 year or 2 years max. Like CB, I was supposed to be here for 1 year with them, ended up spending 3. Ochai, I spent 2 years with them, or 4 years with 4 years with Och. It was only supposed to be 2. So it's been crazy to see. To me, they're young guys, but they're actually like veterans on the team, and they've been so professional about how they've carried themselves and led. Our team got old and we stayed old, and we adapted to what was coming our way. Experience can still adapt. So I think our experience adapted to the changes, and it allowed us to maintain that knowledge we have from being experienced, but also to be prepared for the new changes in the game. And I think that can be transferred to business as well. Yeah,
you said experience can adapt, and I think sometimes businesses get stunted or teams get stunted when that experience won't adapt because they're not open-minded. You talked about that earlier. So yeah, that's really deep there. Nice. Mitch, believe it or not, you actually did more things at KU than just play basketball. Some people just think you just roll up on ESPN and you're always there, but you actually go to class, and you were a student there, and you got an economics degree, you got a master's degree from there. Economics is your bachelor's, sports management and master's. Just kind of like you obviously done a lot of great things, out of this basketball court. What's next for Mitch when it comes to the off court?
So for me, I've got a couple different opportunities. I've got the opportunity to continue to play ball overseas, and I can do that. I've got opportunities in the business world. I think for me, it's just so special that I'm having a hard time making a decision because there's so many great opportunities on the table, and that's what going to Kansas affords you. That's what sticking around and staying loyal and getting your education done, building relationships can do for you. So it's just been so special, and I'm not 100% sure what I'm doing next, but all I know is it doesn't hurt to have the support of a very large and successful fan base.
It's a lot easier to have multiple options than like one, right?
Yeah, 100%.
You can weigh your options.
I enjoy not
cool.
being like pigeonholed into one option for sure.
And you're not in a big hurry, right?
Yeah, I'm
That's obvious.
I'm still absorbing. I'm still absorbing the national championship. I might be absorbing it for the next 20 years, but it's all good.
And you should. You deserve it for sure, man.
Appreciate you.
Hey, so leadership. Before we took the stage here to talk, we threw that phrase out. It gets thrown out in sports, business, development all the time. Hey, leadership. What does that look like? Some people say you're born with it. Some people say you acquire it as you grow up. So I just want to throw it to you, man. Like, what does leadership look like, sound like? How have you seen it in your life at KU?
There's so many different types of leaders I've played with. I think there's two different styles for me that I think are very interesting. You have guys like Frank Mason who are going to go out there and they're going to lead through their actions. Mm-hmm. He's going to go be the toughest. He's going to be the most hard-nosed player on the court. And then there's guys like Devontae and Ochai who are going to go out there. They're going to do leading by example, but they're also going to make sure you hear them too. Yeah. So being able to I think the best way to lead is to find a sweet spot. Lead through your example, but also you got to lead through some talk as well. Those guys have been such great leaders, and that's what it's allowed me to kind of like lead the leaders a little bit. Yeah. Like coaching them on what to do, and like as a leader, hey, get the guys together right now. Like, oh, hey, I think he's down right now. It'd be good if you shot him a text, or it'd be good if you went and checked on him and make sure he's in the right headspace, because it's important to have people that can have the ability to check in with the leaders and make sure they're on top of their game. So that's kind of what I've been doing this past 3 years. Being a senior for the last 3 years has been my it's been my job to make sure our leaders are leading. Yeah,
and you obviously didn't come into that role as a freshman.
No,
you had to learn that.
You had to
grow. You had to grow and see that. So here in Southwind, here at Southwind, we have what is called a nudge. You ever heard that before?
I think I have. We've talked about this before.
So you talked about the opportunity where coach comes to you and asks you about somebody. You talk about maybe, hey, send them a text message. We call that a nudge here in Southwind, of identifying somebody that needs a boost or needs a congratulations. Just sending that nudge is always an important thing, or a simple reminder, and that's a form of leadership that doesn't take a lot of talent, doesn't take a lot of time, but it's really powerful. Mm-hmm. And the fact that you were doing that all the time, instead, like I said, we call it nudges. So there's a little, vocabulary word you can add to your glossary.
Southwind vocabulary. Yeah, I like it.
Cool. So our pillars here at Southwind, we got 4 of them. We have be exceptional, integrity, alignment, and people development. All right. All 4 are very, very vital in how we've grown our company here. Out of those 4, which one do you think correlates the most with KU men's basketball and what you've really aspired to be?
I would say alignment. For us, it's a big thing. We always talk about be aligned, stay aligned. We're all aligned towards the same goal, and we're all aligned on how we're going to get to that goal. We set out a plan. It's talked about within our team very frequently. So it allows us to make sure we don't take any side streets. We're not doing something that could be detrimental to our main goal. You see somebody that may be straying a little bit, hey, let's get aligned. Let's everything move in the right direction. It's huge for our team. It's allowed us to be successful over time. One of the most successful college basketball programs there has been over the last ever, quite honestly. So I think it's important for everyone to be aligned. And because we've just put in like our team culture, and alignment is one of our pillars in that as well. So that's talked about in our circle. I would assume very similar to how it is in yours.
Yeah, a lot. That word gets thrown around a lot, not just haphazardly. There's a purpose behind it. There's a why, and we have to explain it a lot. And it's really easy to identify if we are aligned or not.
100%.
I listen to a lot of podcasts. One of my favorites is John Gordon, Positive University, and he had Sean McVay on not too long ago. Popular guy to be on podcast, obviously, after what they did last season. He talked about, like, he knew his team was special because nobody was trying to win a championship for themselves. And I would just love to hear your perspective on that, because I imagine your team was very similar in that way, of a lot of selfless leaders, a lot of selfless play.
That's 100%. Everybody on our team was fighting for the guy next to him. That's the most special thing about this team, is how close we are. It's the closest team I've been a part of in my entire sports career. These guys have given it all to each other. Nobody was worried about personal accolades. Nobody was worried about any of that. Like, you could have Ochai have 3 points in a game, and he would be as happy as ever, because that's just the person he is, and that goes down the line. Every single person, I think, was super humble, super encouraging of each other. That's the most it's so hard to explain just because it's so special to have a team that's that connected and that's selfless. If I would say there's one thing that we were all fighting for, it would probably be for Coach, because he's gone through some stuff with the passing of his father and everything else going on. And we wanted to do it for him, and we know how much he does for us, and just to be able to give back to him and his legacy is something special for us. And there's a reason he's the greatest to ever do this thing, and I'm just super blessed to be able to play for him.
That's awesome. I'm going to throw in another extension to NIL real quick so we can throw that up there. So the NIL situation we were just discussing, building your brand, and it was kind of uncharted waters, kind of still is, right? Mm-hmm. But we did that in July. You and I got connected. I remember taking pictures up on, what is it, Jayhawk Boulevard, they call it that? My son actually took those pictures, remember that?
Pretty good photos.
Yeah, and you basically got almost a degree in something you weren't ready for. You probably learned a lot on money management, time management, marketing. I don't mean to steal those words out of your mouth, but like
brand management.
Yeah, talk about some things that like just during that process that you probably never would have learned if the NIL deal did not go through.
Yeah, it's been incredible. NIL has been so special. It's taught me, like you said, money management, how to market myself. It's also kind of it lit a fire under me and allowed me to go out there and really hustle for deals and how to make it successful. I was doing deals for not only myself but my teammates as well, trying to follow down as many leads as I could, make sure my guys, my friends, made some money and as much as I could possibly make them. I think that the guys on this team all understood that it's all about your brand and how you conduct yourself on and off the court, and that's going to be how you're compensated as well. So there's definitely it's a new world. It's so fresh. Like you said, it's when we did that first NIL deal, it was like people were like, "Whoa! Like, how did you do this?" Da, 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 da. Like people like nationwide. Like, we had ESPN people.
We're cutting edge, man.
It was insane because we really were at the point of it, and I think we've all learned, but still I don't think anybody was as far ahead as we were at that point in time and are now. So I think that we can learn from it. We can take it and we can use it to hopefully foster more of these deals and agreements and make it mutually beneficial for everybody involved.
I think the other cool thing about it is you could have never had conversations with CEOs or presidents of certain companies in the discussions we were having.
100%.
Earlier today, you sat down at a table of a CEO of a company that's going to do well over $150 million this year, where you might have those conversations with guys in the past, but it wasn't about building your brand and business, So the fact that you leverage yourself to do that says a lot about not only yourself, but what that actually can do for athletes in the game.
And I think that's another special thing about NIL is it allows those relationships to be made. It's going to allow athletes to build relationships outside the field of play and outside of the court, because there's going to be a day when the ball stops bouncing and you're going to have something that you can go back on and do to be successful and support your family and yourself. And I think what a better way to make these relationships prior to the end of your career than NIL. So you can do it while you're competing. And I think a lot of athletes find stress in what do they do next. I mean, I know I have. I'm getting ready for my next step in life and next chapter. And I think the NIL has allowed me to be more, not cautious, but to be more prepared for this next step. Both monetarily and from a mental side of things. I've learned so much about life in general that I hadn't before, and I'm in a way better place now than I was before, because I've had my senior year 3 times. Like, I thought the end was coming 3 times, but for sure it is now, and I've never been more prepared for life after college than I am now, and it's partially to do with our relationship and the relationship that I built with Southwind and 1-800-GOT-JUNK and all the other NIL deals that have been fostered.
Well, you almost tricked some people on April 1st.
Yeah,
You almost got some people fooled that you were coming back.
Yeah, they texted me to post it, and I was like, oh, this would be funny.
Yeah.
But it actually became like a huge deal.
It worked.
Like, people were like freaking out on
Yeah.
me, and like I was like, no, guys, this is it. This is all she wrote.
Right.
I'm done. Like it was pretty funny. A couple of my ex-teammates it even got, and I was
Tricked
laughing.
them.
It was really good.
You know, John Thompson, legendary basketball coach at Georgetown, he always had a deflated basketball. Have you ever heard this? In his office, a basketball that had a hole in it and was deflated, and he had that as a metaphor for, I am teaching you, bringing you in my program so you know what to do when that ball is flat. You said it right there, but when the ball stops bouncing, what are you going to do? I always thought that was pretty powerful by him, and I read that in one of his books, and you know, you did that. You found another way to kind of leverage yourself to, you know, be able to figure out what you do when the ball stops bouncing, because a lot of people, you know, struggle with that. So a lot of great stuff there. You definitely sprinkled some Mitch Lightfoot nuggets there for us, and a lot of good things to capture. Our man Nathan on the ones and twos back there will definitely capture all this for us, and this will be able to be shared on Southwind and through podcasts and through a lot of different avenues. I'm excited to kind of break this up and get this out to the world, Mitch.
Oh, yeah.
Can't thank you enough for this opportunity.
Appreciate you, my guy. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
One, team, Southwind.